What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Nate. Appreciate you tuning in. Today's topic is going to be a pretty deep topic, something that I believe needs to be talked about before it's too late. And that is, as men, we need to get back to God before it's too late. And what I mean by that is, guys, this world, if you haven't picked up on it already, is trying to persuade you to think different. It's trying to spin everything up on its head. It's infecting a lot of men's minds with either pleasure, right? Either just do what you want, none of it matters anyway, vape, drink, smoke, look at porn, play as many video games as you want. Just keep doing all that. It's fine, right? Just pad yourself in comfort, right? Sometimes people take this and they run with it to the other extreme, and that is that they're going to do everything they can in life to one up everybody else, and they're going to get to a point of ultimate power, of ultimate pleasure, right? Basically this top G mentality where nothing matters but money, power, and status. And guys, to be truthful, there is something to that, right? There is something to all of this that does make sense, and that is, you have to be a man, you have to find your purpose, but what exactly are you finding that purpose in? You see, you can have all the money, you can have all the women, you can have all the power in the world, you can have a lot of influence, you can attain all your achievements, but you'll be empty, right? You even had people like Tom Brady come out and say that they've achieved everything they ever wanted in life, right? And if you don't know who Tom Brady is, he's one of the best football players out there, right? He's been in a lot of championship games, a lot of Super Bowls. He's been on the winning teams of many Super Bowls. And so people like that are even like, yeah, I just feel empty. And that's because we don't have God. And a lot of people look at God as this oppressive, hateful, fear-mongering God, right? It's because society has twisted it to that. They've basically said, God doesn't like us doing certain things, therefore he hates us. Guys, nothing could be further from the truth. If you haven't realized already, if you've been living a life of just insanity, right? Going after your own ways, your own lifestyle, seeking these things that never actually bring you peace, right? Maybe you jump around from certain pleasures, right? Maybe you go from porn to women to drinking to smoking to video games, right? You're trying to avoid life. You're trying to numb it. You're just trying to fit in. Guys, there's a reason for that. And it comes down to fear. We have a fear of life if we're not in control, right? We think certain things, like I've just mentioned, will give us this peace. It'll fulfill us, but guys, it's all a lie. And the only thing that's really going to matter is if you find your purpose in God. And what does that mean, guys? Especially if you haven't really read the Bible, like what does that mean, right? That means you have to throw down, you have to toss aside all the things that keep you in chains, right? If something is keeping you in chains, you have to turn from it. You have to get away from it. You have to throw it away. But there's also something else you have to do. See, this is where a lot of people get it wrong. They think that you just have to turn away from something and that you're going to be fine. You can do it all on your own. You have the strength to overcome. Temporarily, maybe, but oftentimes you'll end up either right back in the same place, or you'll end up doing something else to fill that void. Sometimes people find their purpose, so to speak, in a lot of busy work, right? They'll put their nose to the grindstone and say, this is what I'm made to do. I'm going to achieve this. Guys, at the end of the day, though, those pursuits, they just lead to emptiness of money, of power, of women, of prestige, right? It's all going to lead you down the same path unless you have a God-given purpose. And what is that God-given purpose, right? Ultimately, it's something that a lot of men don't really want to do. It's to submit themselves to God first and what he says and what he shows is good for a man, right? There's a verse in the Bible, and I forget the exact area off the top of my head, so forgive me for that, but it says, what does God require of you, O man? And that's to act justly, love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. To walk humbly with God. And guys, I think as men, we don't really think about that. We have this thing buried into our heads from all angles, which tell us that we are in control, right? That it's all about finding a woman and settling down and getting married and having a family, and those things are good. Don't get me wrong, those things are good. I think most men, they should go for those things, right? Most men have a desire for that, and that's not a bad thing. I'll even go a step further and say that the reason a lot of men struggle with either sexual addiction or pornography, things like that, guys, those urges you have, those feelings you have, those are natural, but they're directed the wrong way. You see, if you were to get rid of those desires, if you were to get rid of that mentality and you were to replace it with one that seeks to meet people, seeks to talk to people. I just talked about this on one of my other videos. If you actually replaced porn with talking to women, you'd actually find that women are pretty awesome to talk to, right? They have hopes and dreams. They see things differently than us guys do, right? There's a reason that women, for the most part, I get there's some women out there who, might be a little bit more worth than others, but for the most part, women are a compliment to men, right? They see things, they feel things that men don't understand, right? And there's a reason that we're different, and we each have our own roles for a reason. But as men, we have bought into this. If I just get the woman, if I just get the job, if I just get the money or the car, if I just reach this, then I'll be happy. Guys, that's false. Straight up, it's false. I remember being younger, like my later teen years, and I remember attaining things that I wanted to later on in life, things that I set out to achieve. I achieved them, and it didn't really bring me any sort of happiness, right? It was a quick burst of, joy, like, hey, I got this, I achieved this, I did this, but did it bring me any lasting joy? No, it didn't. When I was going out all the time, living the high life, so to speak, partying, meeting women, dating, going to clubs, all this stuff, for a while it was fun, but it left me empty in the end. And the only thing truly I've ever found purpose in is following God, because he's the way, the truth, and the life. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, right? If you make him Lord of your life, then everything's going to make sense. You might not be the richest man in the world. You might not have the most attractive woman in the world, right? You might not have a supermodel for a wife. You might not have all the cars you ever wanted, but you'll find a joy, you'll find a peace, you'll find something greater than all that, and you'll be right where he wants you to be, right? And that's what a lot of men ultimately want, right? It's not really the woman. Once you realize these things, right? Once you realize that women aren't going to bring you happiness, once you realize money won't, cars won't, nothing will. Once you realize these things, once you find your purpose in God, everything makes sense, because I don't want to say life is on easy mode, but in a sense, when you're following God, it's almost like you're floating through life in a sense, right? Everything is just natural, and you will face opposition. You will face sometimes persecution. It does happen, but you'll have a peace. You'll have a joy. You'll be thankful. You'll be grateful. You'll understand things. You'll understand that everything's working out together for good to those that love God, right? God's working out everything to good. even as people, when we mess it up, when we choose to mess it up, when we screw it up on purpose, even the most vile things, right? Eventually there will be justice. Eventually there will be restitution, eventually, right? But you have a choice. It's either you follow yourself, you follow your own path to destruction, you follow your own path to using people to attain what you want, or some people think they can be a good person. They can be in a neutral state of mind, a neutral way of living. They can play life on their terms and just be good, right? The problem is, guys, you'll still have that selfish inclination, whether you believe it or not. You'll still live that life based off of just you. There will be no really greater purpose. Everything you do will be to get praise for yourself. It'll be to get the attention of other people. It'll be to attract the eyes of other people, right? Jesus talks about this. He talks about don't let your left hand know what your right hand's doing, right? It's all about the heart, right? And the truth is, if you really understand the gospel, if you really understand what it means, what the message is, right? Once you understand that, you're going to want other people to know. And I think as men, we've become so prideful and we've become so self-focused, we forget about that, right? That life as a man truly is about loving sacrifice. And a lot of men don't like to hear that because they think that what's theirs is theirs. No one else should have it. But guys, ultimately, if you have nice things, if you have a lot of things, or you attain to a point where you can get a lot of things, that's great. But why would you want to hoard it all to yourself? Why would you want to keep it all to yourself? Wouldn't you want to bless other people with it? Wouldn't you want to contribute? Wouldn't you want to help out in certain areas, right? Wouldn't you want to make others' life better? There's really no greater joy that comes in life than being able to love others, to help others, to protect others, to sacrifice yourself for others, right? That's where men really find their purpose. That's why a lot of men are lost these days. That's why a lot of men have said that, we haven't fought in a just war since like World War II, because that seems like the last war that we fought in that had a justified reason, right? Where it was truly good versus evil. Guys, I would take a step further and say that truthfully, there's always been good versus evil in every war that's happened since then, right? It's either good people are going to prevail or bad people are going to prevail. And, as gray and as murky and as fuzzy as a lot of it seems to be, I think that ultimately good should come out on top. And I think what you're seeing these days, is, and it's propaganda, it's things being told to you, being marketed to you, is to just not worry about it, right? To just stand by and let it happen. But that's just as bad, guys. Letting it happen, letting life happen to you, letting evil happen is just as wrong. To just stand by and let it happen to other people when you could do something about it. So I urge you guys, find God before it's too late. Pick up a Bible, start in the book of John, right? John chapter 1. It's in the New Testament. It's after Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And you can read any parts of the Bible, but if you're new to it, you don't understand it, you really don't understand who Jesus is, I'd start in John. I just read the whole book of John, right? That'll show you a lot. And I'm telling you this, guys, because I've been where you are, right? I've alluded to this already. I've mentioned this in my other videos, but I went down that path of destruction, of thinking I could do it all on my own, of thinking I could get myself out of any trouble I got myself into, of playing with fire, so to speak, right? Of the crazy life, right? And I realized through the grace of God that was leading me down a path which was destroying my life. It was destroying my soul, right? My mind, everything was warped. There's a reason that things kept failing, that things kept going wrong, that things never worked out, that things kept coming back to zero, right? And I'm a stubborn person, and I'm someone who can normally figure things out. But sometimes, well, if you're truly one of God's people, then he will bring you back. He will show you the way. He's not going to let you mess up forever. He's going to be gracious to you. He's going to correct you. And then you'll see that he loved you. That he's bringing you to a place where you call out to him, and you either harden your heart or you call out to him. And you say, God, I can't do this. I need you to show me the way. And it's a daily process. It's a grind. Some days you backslide. Some moments in life you backslide. But ultimately, you're pressing forward. Ultimately, you're getting better. Ultimately, it's something you can look back on and see the progress. And that gives you a lot of hope. That gives you a lot of meaning and a lot of purpose to your life that you can't find in anything else, guys. You really can't. I know a lot of people wrestle with this. Maybe people have had bad experiences with Christians and churches. I've been there. Believe me, I've been there. But I also challenge you, and this is going to take some humility, right? But you got to look in the mirror, and you got to look at yourself, and you got to look and see if you've been perfect, if you've measured up to the standard of perfection, of never hurting people, of never doing anything wrong in your life, right? And you have to learn to forgive yourself. You have to learn to ask for God's forgiveness, and he'll show you love. And then that way you can forgive yourself. And that's one way I think a lot of men are going to find their purpose, is by loving themselves again. This world wants to make you think, especially as a man, right? Women too, but that's a different video. But as men, they want you to doubt yourself. They don't want you to be strong. They don't want you to be masculine. They want you to stand by. They want you to live a life of pleasure, right? But that's just going to destroy your soul. There's really no greater purpose you can have, truthfully, than finding your purpose in God. Because I'm telling you guys, he's the way, the truth, and the life. I'm serious, right? And if you ask for the Holy Spirit, you ask for Jesus to enter your heart, he's going to show you the way. It's going to be tough. There might be days where it's a tug of war. You might have weeks, months, maybe years where it's just a battle. But God is good, and he's going to show you the way. So come to God before it's too late, guys. Seek him before it's too late, right? Seek his goodness, right? Seek his mercy. Understand who he is. And if you guys need to talk, or you guys have comments or questions, or you guys don't understand something, trust me, I'm figuring this out as I go along as well. But I truly felt the Lord putting this on my heart to make this for y'all, because I know that there's at least one person out there who's going to see this, and hopefully some things will start to click, and hopefully they'll start asking questions, and hopefully they'll start to wrestle with these things, right? And they'll cry out to God. You can always email me directly. My email is in my channel description as well. I put that out there for people. So if you guys need anything, let me know. But I'll see y'all at the next one.